Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna try to upload more regularly, and I have become so out of habit actually of doing these uploads that I noticed in my last video that I was just so fake and I hated it, like the voiceover and everything when I was talking, and I completely noticed it as well. So in this video I'm gonna try to be a little bit more relaxed. I even tried to decorate it a little bit. So I think that looks really cute, and so I'm going to be doing a reading tracker video today. So I'm going to be showing you guys 10 reading slash book trackers for readers, nerds, anyone who can relate to the other stuff on my channel. So we'll start with the monthly and daily trackers, the ones that are a little bit smaller, and then we'll build up to the list and yearly ones. So we'll start by the monthly ones, the day-to-day ones, and these are the reading mood. So maybe you've seen these going around where people draw like different colors, one for each mood, happy, sad, and then they fill in kind of different objects and doodles. Here I made one for reading mood, and so here I've written from 50 pages to 200 pages and these different colors, and for each day of the week. So for the first, I'll fill in this book right here with how many pages I read that day. And then we have one book for each day of the month. And then at the end you can see if you want a lot of red colors, then you probably should read a little bit more. And so you can see in overall how well you read that month. And of course you can do like 10 pages, 0 pages, whatever fits you. And then I also added some doodles with the lamp and the glasses. And so those are the things that are going to be white at the end of the month. I think this is a really good idea just for fun, for doodles, and to challenge yourself if you want to read a little bit more. The next one we have is a reading tracker, which is also monthly, but in this one you're tracking the books you're reading, which day you're reading them, how many days it takes you, and so forth. I used this last month and it worked out so well for me, and so here I just highlight the days that I read this book. For example, here I read Harry Potter, and then you highlight here. These are just imaginary books, it's not the ones that I'm reading right now. And if you're reading a lot of books at the same time, you can also just continue outwards, so that's good, and you can keep track of books that you, for example, haven't finished. So I did a little key at the top here. The arrows at the top is if you continue it before, the month before or the month after, and I did a little dot if you quit a book or if you take a break from your book so you're not reading it the whole time. So you have little dots here I did to demonstrate, and the line is also when you finish and start a book. So these are a lot of colors. Maybe you don't have this many highlighters. I mean, you could do it exactly how you want and custom it to your life. I mean, you could do this whole thing in a circle and just build the colors outwards. That would be a more beautiful way to do it, and I think that would look really great as well. Tell me if you play around with this kind of tracker. Then on this side we have a tracker for each and every book, and then you can track it, fill in these boxes depending on how much you read. So for here example, this book I've divided into by 45 pages, so just a random page number, and then you can fill in when you read, 45 pages, 100 pages, a little bit over 90, and you can keep track of the books that way. For example, if you're reading a lot of books at the same time, you take a break, or if you don't read that much and you need to remember what page you're on or something like that. Or also track, for example, this one, I've divided them into how many days I want to read the book. And so here it says how many pages I want to read each day, and then I highlight it when I finish that day. This is if you want to be more consistent with your tracking. I also did one to demonstrate you could do by chapter, and here I also did one by parts, because some books are divided into parts, You could do it, divide whatever you want, but this is one way, and I also put a quote in the middle because I couldn't come up with more. So that's one type of tracker. And this one is inconsistent of month or year or anything like that, which is also really good. The next reading log is a reading log where you write the title and the author of the book and how much rating you gave it for each month. And so here I've estimated for like 5 books each month. I mean, you can make it larger or less depending on how much you read. I mean, you could fill this up if you read like 2 books a month. You can fill it up with a whole year or however you want to make a 2-page spread. And you can write the date, for example, first, and the title and the author if you like that, and then the rating, especially if you follow Goodreads. This is a lot of fun, and this is a very simple way to track your books and keep track of how many you read each month. And if the month thing is very important, Otherwise, we have one on this side if you have a reading goal. So for example, if you have 30 books as a reading goal, you can write 30 all the way down, and then you know how much you have left and which number you're on. Especially if you're not like a Goodreads fan, you can do this on your own. Goodreads does it for you, but you can also track it. This is the way you can track it for yourself. On this one, you have the date on this side, so this is not so much about the month, but more about how many books you read, but you can also still keep track and write the title and the author right there. And here we have another reading log. This is more like a Calendex reading log, if you guys have heard about that concept before. And so here I wrote 3 different dots, one for if you read 50 pages, one if you read 100, and one if you finish a book. So I've just done this to demonstrate, and so if you read 100 pages each day, you do a 1 dot. If you read 150, you do 1 green dot and 1 blue dot. And if you finish a book, I read it on this side, it was a red dot, and then you just fill it in like many months. You could do like a whole year on a whole spread if you want to do that. And on this side, I did a number of books, so here I have all the months, and then on this side you can write how many books you read each month if that is an interest to you. And then here I also wrote in different categories, so if you want to track how many you read of dark contemporary, classics, nonfiction, fantasy, whatever you read. If you want to broaden your horizons, you can keep track here. You could also use it to make a TBR list, so the books that you do want to read, books that you want to buy, you can custom this to whatever you need, which is why I think this is a really good spread. Then here we have one, this is actually from mine, the other ones were made for this video. This one is one that I use. So these are all the books that I have on my shelf. So these are the books I have bought that is at home. And when I read this, it's like a huge TBR list, but it's also very encouraging because when you read a book, you fill in this little dot that I created above the bookshelves. And so when all the dots are filled in, you know that you've read all the books from your TBR. And so it's also good that you see like how much I read. These are my old books. And so you see I haven't read a lot of the ones that have been on my shelf for a long time, but I've been reading a lot of new books. And so you can, you know, try to read the old books if you want to do that. This is of course a pretty way to do this spread, but you can do it very simply, which is a list of all the books that you have at home and a check mark for when you read that. That totally depends on what you like your bullet journal to do, how much time you have, and that kind of thing. Then here we have a reading goal. This you can also make super simple. You don't need to do like a worm or a snake that I did. I just think it's funny because bookworm, you know. And so here you fill in each little part when you have read that many amount of books. And so I really like this because I can see how much I've come along to my goal, and it becomes colorful at the end, which just makes it really fun. It's a doodle, which I also really love since I like to decorate my bullet journal. And this is one way to do it. I mean, you could do boxes, you can do circle, outwards, whatever fits you, just be creative with it. So here are the last 2 bullet journal book spreads. This one is a book releases of 2018. I have simply put 1 box for each month, and then on the side here I write what date it is. But you can do it however you like. You can basically a yearly spread that covers the whole thing and do that instead, or like a Calendex format where you have all the dates on the side. And so then you can just do it as a list, because you know here sometimes there's 20 on the one that's released on 25th before the one that's released the 4th. So that maybe not be what you'd like. You could also do something like this where you color in that date when the book is released. If you want a more colorful, a fun format with a more detailed list way of doing it, and just write what book is released that date. This is super, super helpful, by the way. I really love this spread. It's super simple, but it works perfectly for me. Here's a book to buy list, and this is basically just a list because that's what I think works best, just like a shopping list. And you know, if you decide not to buy a book, you can just cross it over like I did for some of these. And yeah, I think this works out really, really well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you get inspired to do some of these. If you get inspiration for any of these and you make them yourself, or if you made similar spreads and you have ideas that I have not made, then please send a picture to me or message me on Instagram. My Instagram is going to be below, and it's just LifeGoofer, like my YouTube name. So I hope you guys enjoyed. So keep reading, keep bullet journaling, guys. Subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.